What is good, everybody, and welcome back to Team COG here. Today, guys, I'm bringing you guys my Sunavalon Rikka, or what I like to call my Plant Link deck profile. So I've been playing this deck for quite a long time. I took a break from it for quite some time, though, right before the Therion stuff came out, and I ended up picking it up right after all this Rikka stuff came up. And this list is not going to be your typical Sunavalon Rikka deck, right? Like, this is not the list, like, similar to the list that you've seen some other YouTubers play, or the list that ended up topping the YCS. This is, like, my own kind of like build with it. It's still staying true to the Plant Link side of it, where like the ceiling is way up here, and like you're just ending on way more threatening boards. You have way more ways to get to a starters and stuff like that. In the end, you are playing some, I think maybe two, I'm gonna count, and I'll get to them in the profile, two for sure hard bricks. And the good thing about Plant Link is all your like plant bricks in a way are not really bricks, because they all can get out of the hand some way. You can just, they all have utility in some form or fashion. But before I continue on, if you guys want to help support the channel, check the links down in the description below. Imperium Duels just launched a brand new mat. Use my code TeamCOG10 there. And also, if you guys want to really help support the channel, think about becoming a member and getting into member-only exclusive content, videos, and all that fine stuff. But without further ado, I'm going to jump into the profile here, and let's go ahead. And I got a main deck, side deck, and extra deck for you guys today. So to go ahead and start off with, guys, we are rocking 3 of the seed. The Lorax says respect the trees, and that's what we got to do. And anybody who's putting all these like trap cards in a deck that's ceiling is way up here, you guys aren't respecting the trees. But I guess you got to do what you got to do to protect the forest. Am I right? This right here is like in this line, in this build particularly, this is the best card. We're not playing a lot of petals. In fact, I would like to test like 1 to 2 petals, but I have not got any of those Rikka petals yet. And the reason that I don't believe in playing 3 is because the ceiling that Rikka Petal gets you by itself is little to nothing. Whereas, like, the ceiling that this card gets you is, like, through everything. Like, it is tremendous. Like, this card gets you everything. So you want to play 3 of it, because even at the end of the day, if you're just normal summoning this card, you are still going combo in the sense. But the 3 seed, it's crazy that what one little vanilla card can get you in today's modern game. Moving on, we are on to 2 twin. I think that Sowing is the best card in the deck. Sowing puts 3 bodies on the field, and I see a lot of other builds playing 1 twin just for the sake of it does brick if you do open it. But like, you really like lower, like Sowing is like the high impact card that's like the card they want to hit. So like, why would you weaken your Sowing, right? Why would you risk opening the 1 twin and then your Sowing be like literally lackluster because it's only going to be able to summon out another twin or another Loki, right? It just makes no sense to me. It really doesn't. I truly believe that you need to play 2 twin because you need Sowing to resolve and get the twin. And there's always like lines where you can pitch twin later, and then twin has an awesome graveyard effect, which has led me, thankfully, to one of my commenters on my previous combo videos. It's made me change the way I'm going to play the X deck just slightly, and I'll go over that when we get there. But I wanted to get this done and get this out of the way because I do have some major events coming up this weekend that I'll probably participate in, like 2 major like hyper locals is what I like to call them, or maybe the extravaganza. But finally, 1 Sunseed Shadow. Now this card has not seen any play, I believe, in any sort of like Sunavalon Rikka list or whatever. But this card here is now just a placeholder, in my opinion, for Rikka Petal. However, this card has some niche interactions when like you can search it when you're doing your Jasmine lines, which in this list you get 3 searches off Jasmine, not 1. You get 3 searches off Jasmine, which is pretty crazy. But like, this card does have some niche interactions, I'm not gonna lie. Like, the ability, it just special summons itself if you control the vanilla monster, which gives you like an extender. So like, it might not be the card I cut at the end of the day. I'm bouncing between it and another card, Lumfire Blossom and stuff like that. But anyway, this is it for the Sunseed kind of lineup going on here. And this is pretty much it. The same 6 cards I've kind of always played. I really have no complaints. I know I just said like when I was thinking about cutting Shadow, but I kind of think Shadow might stay in, and I'll explain to that probably in the future. It's just a very good, like, when you go through your combo sequence, it just gets you where you need to go. And like, sometimes like you open so many names and stuff like that, it's another good target to search off of that. Another good target you could play for this could be Carrot Weight as well. But moving on to the Rikka line. So before I get in this is not going to be your typical Rikka line, because instead of playing it being Sunavalon Rikka, this deck is practically using its Rikka cards to pretty much support it. It's not solely dependent on them and stuff like that. But with that being said, we are playing double Rikka Princess, 1 Snowdrop, 1 Mudan, and 1 Pamela. These right here are, I have no complaints with these ratios. Like I said, in the future, we'll probably have 1 Petal, because Petal is really good for recursion. And in the same theory, this deck loses to hand traps pretty well. I'll take that back. This deck can play through quite a few hand traps. But like, you still want to have anti-Nibiru lines is really the hand trap it really cannot play through. So by playing one petal and then like petal plus die, petal plus multiple, you know, petal plus anything that gets you to the Loki is really a way to get you to full combo while being protected and stuff like that. But this is the, as you guys see, it's pretty much a watered down Rikka engine here, because this is like the bare necessity of what you need to be able to combo and stuff. Primula is like, none of these cards are ever bricks. Like Primula you can trigger off of, like, if you open no Rikkas and Primula, you can trigger it off your Jasmine. This card right here, Princess, is insane. Like I have actually contemplated bumping this to 3 because it's an extender, but I have found that, and once you've like, it's very bricky in a sense. But anyway, Snowdrop is literally the card that makes all the other, like, you know, like quote unquote worst plant cards better, because like this card can literally get them out of your hand for free. And then she has the ability to level manipulate, which is awesome, guys. Like that is like being able to become level 4, level 8. Sometimes in weird scenarios, since I do play Mardell, because I think Mardell is too good not to play, you can become level 9. Like it's just, she's insane. She's honestly one of the best ones in my opinion. And then of course Mudan is the searcher for any Rikka spell or trap, which searches you Con, which Con is literally busted. And then this card just triggers itself like multi-fake when a card is distributed. And then if you guys don't know what Princess does, it is insane. It is literally a special summon for free, and then it locks you into plants while it's face up on the field. And then as long as you control a Rikka monster, you contribute a plant monster or Rikka monster to as cost. So you tribute a plant or Rikka monster as cost, shuffle this card back in the deck to negate a monster effect. Literally insane, especially when you have Con, then you contribute your opponent's monster. It's just, it's insane. Moving on, I am on to the Therion package because I do not believe that the Therions are that much in bricks. I really don't. Lilyboria is just an extender. It's a level 8. It's a really big beater too, if you look at it. It's 24-24 or 24-25. And then Regulus is probably one of the harder bricks in the deck because like it's harder to make Regulus live, I guess. Like if you open Regulus in a way, but you just have to shift your combo line just slightly to be able to do it. Like it's really 100%. It's not that hard, and it's not that much of a like hassle to do. Like I'm not gonna. People made this like engine seem like it was one of the brickiest things on earth because you had to play Disc Coliseum Regulus, but like I guess they like to lose, getting their backs blown out by Evenly and Nibiru and stuff like that, because the amount that like the inconsistencies this stuff gives is very slim. I have yet to find like any sort of major inconsistencies with playing this, except for when you hard open Regulus, because if you hard open Regulus instead of Lily, you have to summon Regulus like way further in the combo, which is defeating the purpose of it. But like you're still ending your board with like an Omni Negate, which is Regulus. And then like even worst case scenarios, if you have to do things a little out of order because of like just the way your hand works, and you get Disc Coliseum but you've already locked into plants because of Con or something, Regulus is an insane follow-up on your turn to be able to smack down as a negate, which is crazy, right? But yep, I believe you have to play this. I just can't believe that people are not playing this package. It's just, like, I guess they just like losing to Evenly. Like, how many times, if you guys ever want to watch me, I'm on stream. I try to stream once a week or twice a week, however much my work schedule permits me. And like, you know how many times people have dropped a fat Evenly on me? Like at least 3 to 4 times. Like people cited in. Evenly is a complete blowout card. Same with like Dark Ruler Evenly. It's smacking, man. So like you want to stop that. Like the deck loses hard to Evenly and loses hard to Nibiru, and then like we have no form of spell or trap negation in the deck. We have a lot of monster negation and spot removal, but like Regulus gives us that Omni Negate that allows us to, like, you know, hit everything. But that's just my opinion. At the end of the day, I've seen little to no problems with this. Actually, I've seen more problems with like other cards rather than the Therion stuff here, which I'll talk about. I'm moving on to like the free agents, which is like the generic plant stuff. I am playing 3 Lonefire. And somebody's going to be like, well, it's crazy, but it's because every copy of Lonefire equals more copies of Sunseed Loki. However, I remember saying about cutting Shadow earlier in the profile. I do think I will cut Lonefire down to 2, because you don't want to see multiples of Lonefire. And that's where I've had a lot of issues lately, as I've been seeing 2 Lonefires. And like, yes, you can beam out the other Lonefire through your combo by getting to Snowdrop. But like at the end of the day, like since we're not playing really any defensive cards such as like hand traps or anything, and we're just trying to like eat the hand traps and push through everything, you don't want to have hands like that where you see multiple normal summons, which makes the deck like very weak in the sense. That's why I also don't believe in playing more than 1 or any more. Like I don't believe in playing 3 Rikka Petal, because that's a normal summon because it doesn't special summon. So like you need to like, it only becomes good if you see die, unexpected die. Same with Lonefire here. Lonefire only becomes good if you see die. Unless this is, but then again, this right here, Lonefire does get you to your Sunseed, which is full combo. But anyway, I do believe I'll cut this down to 2 later on. I've been testing it at 3, and they have been a few times it has bricked me and clogged up my hand at 3. So I do think moving it down to 2 is correct. I don't believe in 1. I've seen a lot of people playing 1, and I just do not agree with 1. Now, I might be wrong. Like, it doesn't mean that I'm right, you know. But I just don't agree at 1. I think at 1, it's like, it's a really impactful card, and then and just playing it at 1, you just limit, you don't get to see it enough. So, and then like again, to not to thrash, because the Rikka Sunavalon deck has done really good, but you're very reliant on the hand traps and traps you draw versus the board you can set up. And as you guys know, I've been a combo player for years now, and I don't agree with drawing the interruptions. I agree with making them. So why would you lower your ceiling in hopes that you draw like powerful, like disruptive cards when you can just literally higher your ceiling and make them, I guess. But that's always going to be the conflict between control and combo. But continuing on, 1 Mardell and 1 Laurel. So people will be like, dang, this card's a brick. And I just literally laugh, because like this card is not a brick. It has no way to get out of the hand, but you have multiple ways to get it from the hand with other cards. And then like you just combo differently. It's literally like not even, what this card gives you is another body for Laurel. And Laurel literally lets you win in time. So like on top of like Sunfine Healer and stuff, Laurel like literally is a free special summon. It's insane. It's an extender, just really crazy. But anyway, I'll show you, if you guys have not checked out the combo video, go ahead and check it out. It's a little obsolete because we've actually like gone to like class with botany some more, and we've learned the more plant lines. So like there's another line, but Mardell is just part of the combo. You summon it out with the Jasmine, grab you Laurel, your life will be higher than your opponent's, at least it should be because of Healer. Special this out, then you end up linking these into another Jasmine, triggering the Jasmine for twice. And if I've seen anything from the new Sunavalon Rikka combo videos, you're only triggering Jasmine once. And like this list can trigger Jasmine 3 times. So you're going to get 3 searches throughout your turn, which is really cool and really crazy. But anyway, that's pretty much what this does. So like this right here, I would say this little package here is what separates the deck from the Rikka, like the true Sunavalon Rikka builds. Is because this right here gives you 3 searches, which is 3 combo pieces. They give you 3 more extenders, combo lines, and stuff like that. Now we're moving on to the spells. No hand traps, because I am all gas, no breaks. I found hand traps. I have never opened anything more than 1 or 2, and it takes almost 3 to stop decks nowadays. So I prefer to side into the hand traps when I know I'm going second. When I'm going first, I prefer to play board breakers. That's how I've played since like Infernoble time, since Crusadia time, guys. Full send, you know, no look back. Just straight up, just eat the hand traps and keep going. Let them brick on their hand traps while you just try to combo through everything. But moving on to the Sunvine cards, we're on to 2 Sowing and 1 Shrine. I used to play 3 Shrine or 3 Sowing because Sowing was so phenomenal. You wanted to open it. Space by adding the Rikka stuff got a little tight, so I agreed with cutting this card down to 2 and then playing 1 Shrine. I will never cut Shrine because I have seen so many YuGiOh players that play this deck literally open their 1 Sowing, make the Drias, and I feel like if you're not plussing off of the Drias, you're minusing. And Shrine is literally an additional extender. You're gonna easily have a card to pitch in your hand. Like if you're going first, pitch any of your dead dies, any of your dead dark rulers, any of your dead cards in your hand. There you go. Like it is literally so easy to use this card, and I think that people are just accuse it as being as a brick because it has a tiny little activation requirement that they're too scared to pay. Even Pigeon Petal would not be bad because Petal comes back during the end phase. Like, and then like again, like summoning Drias and then not getting a search off Drias because you've opened your 1 copy. Nah, we don't. That's ridiculous. That's what made Drias insane, was that it was not once per turn, so the amount of advantage you could get from Drias just continuing to add you cards to be able to pitch and have resources was what made this deck really insane. But anyway, this card's quite bonkers. This card is also another way to get to the seed and some other weaker combo lines. Sometimes you'll have to fire off Sowing first, and you're just able to, and that's where like, when you have to use Sowing, that's where the Rikka stuff comes really powerful. Really powerful is when you have to fire off Sowing first, because then the Rikka stuff can pick up the slack that you're missing from the Sowing. But Sowing is insane. This is 100% the card you need to protect and 100% the card you need to hit if you're playing this deck. Sowing puts 3 bodies on the field, which is ridiculous. And then Shrine's just recursion. You have to have a Sunavalon up here. You pitch a card to activate it, then after that you can just reborn the vanilla from the graveyard, which gives you free extension. It allows you sometimes to not have to use Begalancer as a tribute target. Moving on. I am here with 3 Die Inexpectiado, however you say that. These are Portuguese. I've ordered, this is actually my, if you count the rares I have, this is my 12th or my 4th playset of dies. I've ordered 2 sets of Super English and have yet to get them. I was starting to get worried because I hadn't yet got my Glamour yet, and I was waiting 2 weeks for that. It's just living where I live, man. I just get kind of screwed by the mail, but it is what it is. Die is just a phenomenal starter. You want to see Die because Die gets you the seed without your normal summon, so then like you can literally just, it's free real estate. If you open multiple dies, it's actually quite funny how like sometimes like you'll open multiple dies and like you'll die, go combo, they'll have like Ogre or something to remove the tree, and then you just die out and go again. It's kind of crazy. Or they take or steal, or you know, they do something that it's like always funny to watch the interactions around with Die. where they will take the monster. So when you have a second one, they just get straight punished. Have yet, and then if someone ashes die, you already know it's going places, man. Now this card is a card that I actually am not too. It's very much similar to what I was having with Lone. It's good because like it works very well. It's actually full combo as long as you see it plus the Therion Lily, because you're going to be able to get your access to the vanilla and set up a disruption before you even commit to the normal summon of your turn, which is insane. However, seeing 2 of these cards is not good, so I think I'm going to cut this down for a 1-for-1 and play 2 decisions, 1-1-for-1, and I think that's the correct route to end up going. I was having a lot of hands where I was opening multiple decisions, and as you guys can see, it was very painful to see multiple decisions. So I've always lived by the logic is 3 if you want to see it, 2 if you sometimes want to see it, 1 if you barely want to see it. So we're going to try that out in this next format coming up. But this is kind of what I've been testing for now. Again, in theory, this card is fantastic because it is an additional 3 copies of this card, and it gets it to the graveyard, where you get to work with some other cards in your deck. There's like lots of like iterations where this card does become useful. Be it a Foolish Burial and an ad is really cool. Like with Sunvine Shrine, even if you just open like any plant, because Drius doesn't take like a normal, just says level 4 or lower. Like sometimes you can make the shrine, like normal summon your level 4 lower plant, make Drius, use the shrine you open, and then like you can Painful Decision. Like it's just, there's tons of things you can do. Moving on to the Rikka cards, we are rocking 1 Rikka Glamour and 1 Rikka Con. And again, since this is not very heavily dependent on the Rikka side of everything, we are only playing the 1 Rikka Glamour because there's not really much we can really search to give us additional things. And again, like I think that unless you're playing like truly like the more Rikka oriented build, you don't need to play 3 Glamour. You can get access to Glamour through Con or through Mudan, whatever you need to do. But Rikka Glamour is really cool. Rhoda, and then if you tribute a plant monster, you get to add another plant monster with a different name but the same level. It is what allows us to get access to Therion Lily, because we can add Snowdrop and then add Lily, and then we can, of course, if you guys don't know, like the main combo line, use this to grab Primula, then grab Princess. Primula triggers because you tributed a plant, and then you make Strina and just go that way. And then this card can just be reset. One thing about this card though, you can add this card back off of the Strina, and then like during the other turn, if you still have a like Teardrop on the field, you can go Glamour, grab yourself the Princess, and you have a monster negate during your turn to play under, like when you're going to like, turn 3s type of scenario. Con, cool fact, mine actually has some ink printing wrong with it up there, if you guys can see. Pretty cool. This card is literally what's made the like kind of the glue that brought everything together. Like it's just quite insane. It lets you tribute your opponent's monsters, or tribute your monster, or tribute your opponent's monsters as cost. It lets you set a Rikka spell or trap. It's really crazy. It's crazy on the crackback too, because then you can start like, if they somehow are able to put up any sort of minuscule board through your board, you're just going to be able to tribute like one of the most problematic monsters for cost for free, which is really insane. 1 Disc Coliseum, because you have to play this for the Lily. This card is not that bad either, considering you only play 2 field spells, right? Both these field spells are pretty decent. This card gets you Regulus, and this card has a cool battle phase effect, or battle protection sort of thing. But most importantly, this card gets you to Regulus, and then like worst case scenario, if you open this card and you open anything else, this card is not a brick, because this card grabs you Lily, and Lily's an extender. And yeah, Lily can get you into Lily. They've been a few times I've talked to other Plant League players in the Discord, in my Discord server. They talked about playing like another spell or trap, so when you do open this, you can search it. But I don't want to brick that much. It'd be kind of cool. Yeah, technically you could play like the Therion draw card, and then like you could use like Disc Coliseum to grab like another Lily, and then like you could do your combo line. You can get access to another Lily, so then you can do like the draw card, discard the Lily to draw something. It's definitely worth something to test it out. You know, like I truly think that'd actually be kind of cool. To try the Therion. I don't even know what the card's called, Therion Charge or something like that. That'd be kind of a cool little thing to test, especially if you open multiple Lilies and stuff like that. Even if you don't open multiple Lilies, you're able to get easy access to Lily throughout your combo. So it'd give the deck some sort of like quote theme, draw power, but this call seems pretty cool. On to triple Dark Ruler. Dark Ruler is just phenomenal. If you guys don't remember, I was playing Mortronics religiously for a little bit, and I literally played against a Plant Link, and I just got Dark Rulered all 3 games. The card truly is a blowout. And the fact that this deck has a lot of monster spot removal, so like literally you just break apart their board completely, and to the point to where they're not going to be able to bring it back. You just Dark Ruler, Begalancer Bounce, tribute with either you tribute with the Con, tribute with the Teardrop, and then you have like such huge monsters and stuff like that. And I've actually had it to where I've made the big tree and then Begalancer, and then since I opened so well, I didn't have to use Begalancer to tribute. I used the effect of this to sack off the Begalancer to destroy 4 cards on their field. They couldn't do anything because of Dark Ruler, and then I just brought back Begalancer and for the other turn. So it's really cool. This card is actually, I prefer this card over way over Droplets, because we don't have a lot of cards to send, and like we're really ending on like little to no cards in hand. We do end on like kind of some follow-up, but you need that for the follow-up. You don't want to pitch it with droplets. Moving on though to Triple T. This card is, ever since I've got this card has always overperformed. However, I agree with the, I've always played it, I used to play it at 3, always saw 2, never want to see 2, you just want to see 1. And this card's just pretty crazy in this deck, because this deck really can kind of eat through hand traps pretty well. So like, you just have the ability to like eat a hand trap, Triple T them, rip another card from their hand, and just keep comboing. Like, you don't even need the draw 2. It's pretty crazy. But going second, it lets you steal stuff, which is pretty okay. It allows you free tribute fodder for Jasmine. Everything in here is kind of plant restrictive, so that there's not really like a free real estate you can take to link off generically, but you can steal it and then use Jasmine to tribute it, which is really cool to get a body off the field. For the solid one-ofs, 1 Call By, 1 Feather Duster, 1 Monster Reborn. Always respect mine and back row decks. This deck can eat apart mostly any mid-range to combo deck, but it really struggles against back row decks. And you know, Mystic Mine is also still a card for some reason. Anyway, you just want to always keep something strapped on you so you can clap the back row decks. And then for the final 2 cards, 1 Sunavalon Bloom and 1 Rikka Sheet. So some people might not be too familiar with this card. People should know what this card does because of all the popularity with Rikka Sunavalon. But this card is pretty much a skill drain, and it says that one of your Link 4 plant monsters can gain the attack of everything it points to, whether that be the Big Tree Bengal Lancer, and then on activation, it skill drains the whole field for everything that's currently there. Pretty nice. And it's just an easy disruption you get through doing your standard combo, so like, you end up on more than just like front row and back row. This is for the first time ever, you're ending on such a diverse board that like Dark Ruler, like you can't negate Dark Ruler. This deck has no way to negate Dark Ruler, but you put up such a massive board that through Dark Ruler you still will have like 4 disruptions, because you'll have Bloom, Sheet, and Rikka Princess either in grave or hand. And then if you played correctly, reading the Dark Ruler, you'll have Strinna, so like Strinna will be able to you'll tribute the Strinna, get out Hyperiton, so then like you have like 4 to 5 disruptions even through Dark Ruler, which is really insane. But Sheet's really cool. At the bare bone minimum, like if you do open like the Rikka side of things, and that's all you get access to, Rikka gets you to like Con a Sheet, and then that's like a three forms of disruption, because you're going to tribute a monster they control and then steal another. Really cool. But yep, that is it for the main deck. It is 40 cards flat. Like I said, the few things I would change before I jump in there, I definitely consider cutting down on the Painful Decisions for a 1-for-1, and then cutting down on the Long Fire Blossoms for the Rikka Petal. I want to play 1-for-1 so I can lose the Ash more often, but it's just such a better card. I'd much rather see 1-for-1 versus like 2 Painfuls. I'd rather see Painful plus 1-for-1, you know. But anyway, moving on to the extra deck here. I'd say the extra deck is kind of like very much stayed the same in a way, but it actually has changed. It'd be different compared to what you guys are used to. Triple Drius, this card is literally phenomenal. It is, I can't even put into words. It's not once per turn. You make it, you search your Sunvine Sowing. When you take damage in any sense, you can regain that damage and then bring out special summon a Sunvine monster from your extra deck to a zone it points to. This is like literally, this is the small tree. It literally brings everything together. 1 healer. Now this will change because I'm rocking 1 healer and 2 Thrasher. I will actually be moving to playing 2 healer and 1 Thrasher. I don't believe and that's again, it blows my mind, like the standard Rikka Sunavalon combo summons out the Thrasher for a waste. So like, Thrasher is just a phenomenal go second card. It just gives a lot of security to be able to make a 4,000 monster that's gonna like snatch steal something. So like, that's why I've always believed in the 2 Thrasher. But however, I'm gonna move to 2 healer because you can like use healer twice during your combo and get to like a full, you can get to like Lily through that combo, and then your full inboard ends on the Omni Negation with Regulus. But anyway, these are the 3. You actually could play like any 3 you want, to be honest with you. I know some people are trying the Gardena, but I wouldn't recommend it. Double Jasmine, because you can make 2. You resolve this card's search effect 3 times throughout the turn. It's actually pretty insane. And then it tributes to summon any plant from the deck. And then don't forget, whatever it points to cannot be destroyed by battle, excuse me. Had to read that. 1 Dance Penny. This card is literally, in theory, one of the best extending cards we've ever gotten, except for I have missed off this card more times than I can count. And some situations where I shouldn't have missed, and some situations that I was likely to miss, I've just missed with this card. In theory, you get hand trapped to death, you make Dance Penny, you hit 2 monsters. And see, that's something else. That's also why I like Lone Fire, because if you hit Lone Fire off this, you're able to like Lone Fire into Lone Fire, and that Lone Fire tribute another. It just gives you the ability to get out of the restriction that Dance Penny says those monsters cannot be used as link material. But for the most part, this card right here gets you to like a rank 8, rank 4. It just kind of allows you to play through those hand traps in one last attempt. However, I have found myself eating hand traps, making this card, whiffing, and then just scooping it up because you can't really do anything after that. Double Malice. If you guys are not familiar with the combo, you link climb, you go like seed into with Jasmine into Melis. Melis bring back Seed. Seed into Jasmine again to make Melis. Bring back Seed. Seed go to Drius. Search again because I'm not supposed to return. Then you have like these bodies like kind of sitting out here. A card's really cool, and it's part of like an OTK that the deck does kind of have. You make Thrasher that points to this, and then this thing can target Thrasher, so Thrasher can attack up to 3 times, and then Thrasher's going to snatch steal every time that it attacks over something and sends it to the graveyard. So it's really cool. And here is the one card that I don't think a lot of people are playing, which is what I believe, since we have a higher ceiling, we just can go up into this card. Dretiania, this card literally is quite bonkers. I'll just read it to you guys. This card is Link Summon. I can add 1 Sunavalon, spell a trap, so that's how you get the bloom. And then your opponent cannot, this card cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. And this card cannot be targeted for attacks, but does not prevent your opponent from attacking directly. And then once per turn, you contribute a Link monster and destroy cards up to the number of that card's Link rating. That is the blowout card that you normally get. Following up, when they set 4 Dretiania's effect during your turn, you can force all those cards in the back row. Very easy. Then we have Bagelon, the Resurgent. Probably no matter what you say, this card is probably going to be the face of plants moving forward. This card is literally remarkable. It is a quick effect compulse. It can recur itself, which is in the name Resurgent. It is just insane. You do have to bounce a card that has attack value because you have to take damage regardless of how you're bouncing. You can't take 0 damage. But all those normal summon Reliant, like Cynet decks, you know, or the Cynet Cybers decks, literally they just normal summon, you bounce it, like you put them on having the extender, and then you always have like a way to stop the extender anyway. This card is really cool. Moving on, we are playing 1 Strina, 1 Teardrop, and 1 Sacred Tree Hyperion. A card I would really like to try and play would be the Alsay, because Alsay is like spot removal for spell and traps in a way. But like trying to find a card to cut would be the thing. At one time I was theorizing about cutting an extra Thrasher, but now seeing that I need like Healer to make the combo do a little bit better, it might not be a thing. In the same instance with Alsay, you can also just resolve cards with Dretiania as well, so like maybe that's like the counter argument is like you don't need Alsay because Dretiania can solve the same back row cards as Alsay can. And everything that they can hit Alsay with, they can hit Dretiania with, and vice versa. But anyway, Strina is really good as recursion from the graveyard. I have found myself a lot of times now getting frame 1 called by the grave my princess, and that just really sucks because it takes a pretty hard form of disruption. So I have found myself using Strina to add back the princess more times than not, because you just want to have it in your hand so it can't get called by. And then like sometimes you don't need to add the princess back, you add another R card. Like sometimes you add like Madame back since you have Con for the follow-up, so then like you can contribute your opponent's monster. Teardrop, we've been playing Teardrop for a long time. This card's literally insane. Quick effect tribute, quite bonkers. And then Hyperion is just what you smack over Strina. Every now and then you'll play against a matchup where like the game state will permit you to smack Teardrop over Strina if you didn't make Teardrop already, because like you already know like you just need to keep their monsters off the field. But anyway, it's still pretty decent. But this is the 3 XYZs. They're all 3 cool. There is a few times I miss playing 2 Strina, but like 2 Strina has never come up because like since you're playing such the small Rikka package, you don't have like the numbers of Rikkas to be able to make 2 Strinas consistently. So like the 1 Strina just works perfect. Moving on to the side deck. So I've actually bounced between my side deck quite a bit, and this is kind of what I'm feeling currently right now. I was playing Pollen, here it is actually. If you guys have not seen this card, I was playing this for a while because this is technically Solemn Judgment, but for plants. So like I was siding in like 6 Judgments because like with no draw power, we need to see cards to like stop things, right? Like we need to see that. And so I was trying to play 6 Judgments to be able to stop like blowout cards like Dark Ruler, Droplets, and stuff. However, I still didn't see it, but moving on. I am rocking 3 Nibiru. I think I've seen a lot of people steal Nibiru. Nibiru is very high impact. You contribute the token. The one complaint I have about this card is that if you open this plus die, it shuts off die. But like I would say the reward this card gives you versus the risk is just significantly better. Moving on, I wish I had them, but I don't, so I'm playing these currently. I am playing 3 Ghostbound Haunted Mansions. These should be DD Crows. I'm gonna try and pick up 3 Crows this weekend, whether I end up buying them from like TCG player or I end up just picking them up from the locals I go to. These should be Crows. Fun fact, we figured this out. This card, if you guys didn't know, this card can stop Toad, which is really interesting and good in the sense when you're playing against Sprite and stuff like that. 3 Cosmics because we gotta hate the back row removal. We could potentially, if you don't want to pay the 1,000, which I've actually quite thought about, you could literally play Mystical Space Typhoon again. You could also play cards like Lightning Storm, which is another card that I'm considering picking up as well because you just need the mass blowout. Instead of just hitting 1 spell or trap, you could hit them all, you know? So like that could be definitely an option. Moving on to 3 Dimensional Barriers. this card right here. As long as there is a fusion-based deck in the game, especially with Cross Trilla coming out soon, being able to call XYZ, call fusion, etc. with all the decks out there, it just gives you an automatic win. They just literally have to pass because that's like literally what their deck does is fusion, Cross Trilla just XYZ. They literally just, all right, your turn, and then you just hit them. And then 3 judgments. Yeah, why wouldn't you play judgment? Because like you don't want your back broken out by the blowout cards. The same blowout cards you play, you don't want your back broken out by. But that is it for my current side deck. Like I said, guys, I'd probably move and play DD Crow moving forward in the future. But anyway, guys, please comment down below what you guys think. If you guys want to see some more videos about this deck, please let me know. I've been hitting this deck pretty hard on my streams. If you guys want to check out the streams, ding that notification bell. And also, if you guys miss streams, think about becoming a member because all my streams go up for members after 1 day of being out there for the public. So anyway, guys, most importantly, you guys stay safe and stay healthy. This is Charles from Team COG, signing out.